Behind bars, he dreamed of the children he himself had killed. The unrequited love for the mother of 3 children drove a very young boy to commit a cruel crime, to so cold-bloodedly harm the children of his beloved woman. One must have serious psychological issues. However, after committing the crime, the killer was deemed fully sane. This is truly an egregious case that occurred in 2011 in the city of Tula. Marina Shkarupa, a 35-year-old woman and daughter of conductor Leonid Pavlovich Shkarupa, moved from Yekaterinburg to Tula with her 3 children after divorcing her husband in 2008. She worked as a realtor in a local firm and was the sole caregiver for her 3 underage children, the youngest of whom was just 5 years old at the time of the crime. Once Marina's computer broke down, and some acquaintances recommended a certain Ivan. They said he was a very young guy who was quite knowledgeable about computer repairs. Little did Marina know that this fateful encounter would have dire consequences for her entire family. After a call, 19-year-old Ivan came to her house, and he and Marina developed a long-standing friendship. Soon, the technician began hinting to her about something more than just friendship. After investigating the murder, the police concluded that Ivan was often a guest in the house. Clearly, the mother of 3 children had made quite an impression on him. A few months later, Ivan Ivanchenko joined the army, but he couldn't forget his beloved during the year. Surprisingly, the presence of 3 young children didn't bother him, unlike other men who might have been put off by such a situation. After Ivan returned from the army, he immediately went to the home of his beloved woman. However, he was rejected in his romantic advances. On that day, the hurt young man decided to seek bloody revenge. It's truly a tragic case. In 2011, a horrifying event unfolded in Tula, Russia. Marina Shkarupa, a 35-year-old woman and daughter of conductor Leonid Pavlovich Shkarupa, was involved with a 19-year-old young man named Ivanchenko. Surprisingly, their relationship remained hidden from neighbors, acquaintances, and even Marina's father, who had lost his son Marina's brother 14 years prior. Interestingly, Ivan had a girlfriend since 2019, who patiently awaited his return from the army. On July 24, 2011, Ivan Ivanchenko was visiting the Shkarupa family. He had been called again to repair their computer. In the same apartment were Maria's 3 young sons Dmitry, Kirill, and Pyotr, as well as her elderly mother, Valentina Bormutova. The computer repair took longer than expected, and he was offered to stay overnight. Closer to night, a quarrel arose between Shkarupa and Ivanchenko. After that, the criminal, in his own words, thought for a long time, lying in bed, about how to kill his love. The young man decided to find a murder weapon in the apartment and soon came across a hammer. Then he went to the room where Maria was sleeping and began to kill the sleeping woman. The noise woke up Maria's mother, Valentina. The killer didn't panic, and upon meeting the woman in the hallway, asked her to go to the kitchen to make him some tea. After the killer dealt with Valentina in the kitchen, he realized he needed to eliminate the other witnesses in the apartment. Without turning on the lights, the murderer entered the first room where 2 children were sleeping. Then he proceeded to the last boy. In a brutal manner, the criminal killed all 3 toddlers. Over the course of several hours, he cleaned up the evidence, taking valuable items: 5 mobile phones, 2 DVD players, a video camera, and 2 televisions. He locked the front door and disappeared from the crime scene. One of the televisions was brought home and given to his mother, while the other stolen items were pawned. Later, it was precisely this television, along with the items Ivanchenko pawned using his own passport, that became crucial physical evidence linking him to the murder. On August 1st, neighbors detected a sharp, foul odor emanating from Shkarupa's apartment and called the police. Just 2 days later, after an intensified search, Ivan Ivanchenko was apprehended in his mother's apartment. He denied any acquaintance with the Shkarupa family. At the police station, he provided a confession. During the investigative experiment, the house where the murder occurred was cordoned off with enhanced security due to concerns that neighbors might lynch the criminal. They expressed genuine threats against him. The young man provided precise details to investigators about how he killed each family member. In court, after the decision to arrest him was made, he agreed with it and broke down in tears. On September 22, 2011, all the victims were buried in Yekaterinburg. While in prison, Ivan Ivanchenko repeatedly violated internal rules while being held in solitary confinement. As a result, he was placed in the punishment cell. He also went on hunger strikes more than once due to his request for cigarettes being denied. In his cell, Ivanchenko could hardly sleep, and when he did, he would call for the prison staff, complaining that he dreamed of the children he had killed. In January 2012, based on a psychiatric evaluation in Moscow, Ivan Ivanchenko was deemed mentally competent. However, it was discovered that he had a personality disorder, which, according to doctors, could not have influenced the crime, and the condition did not require treatment. From the very beginning of the trial, Ivan Ivanchenko declared his complete innocence and refused to provide any testimony given during the preliminary investigation, claiming that he was coerced into self-incrimination. The court treated these statements critically, considering that the evidence collected during the preliminary investigation was sufficient to prove his guilt. The defendant repeatedly changed his testimony, claiming that an unknown person ordered him to kill Maria Shkarupa. On December 25, 2012, in his final statement, the defendant once again declared his innocence and demanded his release, asking to be relieved of all charges. Additionally, he claimed that he had not previously known Maria's last name or her exact address. On December 29, 2012, the court found Ivan Ivanchenko guilty on all counts of the indictment and sentenced him to life imprisonment with compensation of $100,000 to the relatives of the deceased as restitution for moral and material damages. In 2023, during a session at the Regional Court of Tula Oblast, there was a discussion about the relevance of preserving certain physical evidence in the case of the Shkarupa family murder. Ivan Ivanchenko, the convicted individual, was present via video link. Seizing the opportunity, he declared his innocence and requested the reopening of the criminal case. According to his statement, while he remains in prison, the actual murderer of the Shkarupa family is still at large.